All right, let's settle down, settle back, and let's get into our day's call. This young lady, I wait to see. I know she's fired up, ready to go because it's the first of September, and she has had time to relax. I just saw her here in Vegas, August the 17th. It was her birthday on that Saturday. She came to town with her crew. Man, she came in here blazing. I mean, blazing. We had to call the FBI, CIA, clear the runway for her and her crew with lights flashing and blowing up and babies crying and old people losing their canes and people losing wigs and toupees. And I mean, she was just coming through Vegas like you would not believe, like a hurricane. And got a chance to sit down, break bread with her and her posse. I mean, I mean, she had a group with her. And I mean, she had the birthday hat on. And I mean, it was something else to see. Yes, she's known as the Taco Lady. She's also with down the levee, put the flag in the ground, decided I'm going to own this lock, stock, and barrel. And that's what I'm talking about. Just made a decision. Without further ado, everybody, can we put our warm welcome, put our hands together for none other than the birthday girl from August 17th, Saturday, the great Miss Roxann Corralejo.
Good morning, good morning. It is a gorgeous day. It is always a gorgeous day. I love spending my mornings with you guys. And yes, I was so excited that Mr. Thomas was able to spend some time with me on my birthday. And it was just, it's heartwarming when a leader will do that for you. And I know he was exhausted. I know he had other things going on, but he still made it out just to show up and be there and say hi. And it wasn't just him, it was Mr. Jabri Clemens, Buddy Lee Clemens. They just came out just to hang out for a little bit. It wasn't even for a very long time, but the fact that they showed up is a big deal. And I hope you guys are showing up for your people. I really do. And I know I really don't have to say that to this group, which is so great. But I went out to Vegas, not really with any plans. It's a great meeting point for me and my sister to meet up. And I was like, you know what? I really don't have any plans. This is where I'm going to be. My sister said she'd meet me out there. I didn't realize she had a surprise plan for me and invited some people out. But what was so great is I got to spend my birthday with some ACN people too without planning. So, of course, the gentleman I had just mentioned to you as well, my flight out there, I got to hang out with Maria Estrada. I had a little bit of a layover in Phoenix, and she was like, heck yeah, I'm celebrating your birthday with you. And we both had hats and took pictures, and everybody was like, whose birthday is it? Like, they couldn't even tell. I'm like, does it really matter? We're just here to have a good time. So, yes, I just want to give a big thanks. Mr. Dean Torali was in Vegas. I got to see him in passing too. So we just have such a great community, and it's so phenomenal that we have such a great group of people that will come out just to celebrate you. And the environment Mr. Thomas had set up here, everything stems from the leadership. What we have today stems from what Mr. Thomas built many, many, many years ago, and what Mr. Dean Trolley has built many, many, many years ago, and it just trickles down, and that's the whole point of duplication. So thank you for being that leader to follow. I promise I'm following in your footsteps, and I will show up for anybody and everybody and all around me, just because I know you've done it for me, and I know I just want to pay it forward and do the same thing for others. So thank you, Mr. Thomas, in all that you do. So I want to start today out by sharing a video. I thought it was a funny video. I'm sure many of you have seen it before, but humor me for a second.
Robin 0, go ahead, turn it off with lane 2 on rappel. I don't want to do it, Drill Sergeant. Robin 0, go ahead, look over the edge and tell them lane 2 on rappel. Lane 2 scared as shit. Train, you go flag. Yes, Drill Sergeant. You're going to step off the platform and get your feet sitting out on the LB. I'm not going to do it, Drill Sergeant. I don't care, get down. Let's go. Come on. Step off. Step off. I don't want to do it, Drill Sergeant. Keep this hand on a nice tight grip. Your other hand at the small of your back. Now get into a deep seated L. I'm not doing it, Drill Sergeant. I don't care. Keep going. Deeper. Deeper. Now look at me. Stop it. Oh, come on, bud. What are you doing? Bud, you snuck down. All right, come on now. Hey, all you need to do is plant your feet on the wall and push up. There you go. Now, wave at me with your guide hand. No, other hand. Ready, let's go. Get back up off the wall. Jump with your feet and look at me. Look at me. Yes, sir, Sergeant. Your legs straight and get a good deep seated L. Now wave with your guide hand. Now jump for me 3 times. 1. Okay, 2 more.
Drill sergeant!
You gotta do that 2 more times, bud. 1. 1 more. Good job. Now I need you to look over your shoulder, extend that arm out, and rappel down my wall. Look down all the way out.
Drill sergeant!
Bud, you're stuck again, aren't you?
Fuck this!
Work its way down the wall. And
Help me!
you just gotta lean on over. And lay your feet against the wall.
Can you pull me back up, Drill sergeant?
Nope, you're holding it down here, bud.
Help me, Drill sergeant!
There ain't nothing I can do for you. Now, just get down the wall. Work its way down into the jump.
Drop!
Yep.
That didn't work, Drill sergeant.
Well, try it again, bud.
Fuck! That side worked.
Huh? You got it. All the way down.
I loved that video when I saw it. It was hilarious. I see all of you guys laughing. But I don't think I saw it the same way as most people. And we're a different group here. We're not most people. And just interested, what did you guys see? What the things that stood out? What was it that made you laugh? What stood out to you guys? This is like an ACN presentation. What did you like best? Someone said, Marvetta said, great coach. Absolutely. Anything else? If you guys can put in the chat. I want to see what your thoughts were about this. See if they were similar as mine. Demo of fear, absolutely. And we all experience fear, no matter what we're doing, for rappelling down a wall or having to give a presentation, 100%. He reminded me of me. Oh, Marvetta. But you had a great coach, right? To get you through all of it. Reminds me of basic training. Absolutely. So what stood out to me the most is the same thing. The first thing Marvetta said was great coach. I saw this thing twice. I watched it twice. And I paid more attention to what the sergeant was saying than what was actually being said as he was rappelling down the wall. Because that's the first thing I thought about, like, that is a leader. How many of y'all served in the military? And I know there's a handful of us. I see a handful. Keep them up. Keep going. Josh is like, his hand went down real quick. He's like, I'm out. So yes. Now, how many of you guys served in the military and had a sergeant that was that nice? Oh, not a single hand up. Oh, okay. We got Rick. Rick's like, oh, heck yeah. So I want you guys to think about that. In the military, in our armed forces, we have different kinds of leadership as well. And it's all across the board. And the same thing in ACN. It's the same thing as we have different bosses and different managers. People run their team differently. How are you running your team? And I've been saying this a lot, and I get this straight from Efren Tejada. It's who you are being. People will follow you for who you are being. Now that sergeant, I'm like, I'm in. He's going to help anybody conquer their fear. And there's a couple things that I wrote down just right now that the person rappelling said. Is the first thing he said is, I don't want to. And he said, I don't care, we're going to do it. But he said it in such a way to not discourage him, like, hey, it's going to get done. And the second thing he said is, I'm scared as shit. How many of you have wanted or are about to get up for a presentation, a testimonial, had to speak, had to open your mouth in front of people, peak people? Harrison's already raising his hand. I didn't even finish. That was Deb. And just felt that feeling. I'm scared as shit. It happens. Absolutely. Jackie's hand goes up. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It's that fear. That fear can sometimes be paralyzing, and we just have to do it. Unfortunately, the only secret sauce is to get out there and do it. And he was already on that wall, and he was like, all right, I'm stuck. I'm here now. And what did the sergeant say? He said, boy, you're stuck again, aren't you? You're stuck again, aren't you? It's okay. I'm going to talk you through this. I'm going to walk you through this. And then the gentleman rappelling says, screams, help me. And the sergeant says, there's nothing I can do for you. You got this. Pretty much he's telling him, I'm here. I'm supporting you. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way, but this has to be you. So who are you being as a leader to your team? Are you emulating these kind of characteristics? Are you forcing them to get out there and do it themselves, but still let them know, hey, it doesn't matter what happens. I've got you. You can jump on this wall. You may think that you're alone, but you're hearing my voice. I'm talking you through it. We're going to get through this together. I've got you. So I took some notes. I loved everything Miss Carrie Roeder went over yesterday. I'm going to go through her list yesterday, but her list yesterday was talking about how you're doing in these different areas. But I want to have you guys kind of shift gears a little bit and think about how you're being as a leader in these certain areas. Now that's a little different. Yeah, we're in control of our own actions, what we do, but our whole idea here is to duplicate, and we want to duplicate well. If something, it'll duplicate good or bad. We don't want the bad to duplicate. So what are you doing to help your team duplicate in all the good things? So the first thing she talked about was edification as being your biggest tool. She talked about tools needing to be an AC and that edification, and she gave a good example and a bad example. And that is huge. But as we're building our team, are you teaching your team edification? How to properly edify you, how to properly edify other leaders? And I can promise you the answer to that is no. How do I know? Because I hear it. I hear other people edify leaders, new people, and they're not very good at it because they don't know what to do. You have to give them examples. You give them examples. You have to let them practice with you. Go through it. Talk them through it. What's a proper way to edify someone? I hate it when someone says, oh, here's Mr. Thomas. He's crushing this business. Here he is. Oh my goodness. What's the edification in that? How am I supposed to trust Mr. Thomas? How do I know he's crushing this business and doing it a good way? So we have to give those characteristics, and we talked about it before, and I'm not going to go into edification, but touching all those different 4 personality types and making sure that we're properly teaching our team how to edify someone, and then say, okay, repeat it back to me. Because it's one thing, we think it's simple. Hey, this is what you got to say. It's 3 sentences. If someone's never spoken in front of people, they're going to mess every single part of it up. Mr. Gregory Williamson, I hear, forgot his first name, his name, when he went up and talked to people. And that's something he lived with his whole life. And he's a phenomenal regional director, would never do that today. And his biggest fear, and I heard was not too long ago, is public speaking. Still is his biggest fear. And you can't tell, he is phenomenal. But he forgot his own name at one point. And if you think we can give people 2 or 3 sentences and say, just say that, and they're going to knock it out of the park, maybe once in a while they will, but the odds are they won't. Have them practice with you. Have them say it over and over. What I do is I go through with my team maybe a day before, if I know that they're going to do something, and teach them how to edify someone. And then that day of, if we're going to start a Zoom, I say, okay, you're launching the Zoom, or you're opening the call. Practice your opening with me. How does it go? So many times over Zoom, it's so easy that people will host a PVZ and say, okay, just introduce me and I'll take it from there. And the introduction is so just that simple. Okay, I'm doing this business, but Mr. Thomas is going to go over everything. Take it away, Mr. Thomas. That is not a proper introduction. That is not a proper way to open up a Zoom. Where's the excitement? Where's the energy? Where's your reason why? Where's the edification? So this is stuff we got to practice with our team. Are you doing that? And answer that properly, because I know the answer is no. I see it so much. And I have actually stepped in and say, hold on, I know I'm supposed to treat on this topic. Let me do something real quickly, and let me treat edification real quickly, because I see something lacking. The second thing she talked about is customers and getting customers. And she said, hey, don't let your customers go to your website. Don't just give them your website and here, sign up for identity theft protection. Don't do that. She said, walk them through it. Well, that's you. Are you teaching your team to do that? Your very first rep, are you saying, okay, they don't want to sign up in the business, get them in as customers, send them your link? Because it is super simple to follow, 100%. But right off the bat, talk to their customers with them. Dean says it. You watch me. I do it. You watch me. You do it. I watch you. And then you do it and someone else watches. Same thing with getting a customer, walking them through your website. Are you helping them sign up a brand new customer, them and their aunt, a new prospect and their mom, whoever it is, walk them through it. And after you get the customer, then after you ask them, hey, what did you see? What did you like? Did you see how that worked? What was your favorite part? You see how I did these steps? Because what might seem like common sense to us, because we've been doing it for a while, might not be common sense to the new person. So walk your team in getting their customers as well. I actually have a story about that. Is I had someone reach out to me because their upline, they had an issue with a customer. It wasn't working. It was in San Antonio and Spectrum. And so they asked their upline, and their upline said, oh, we'll just get them on another customer. And she said, that can't be the answer. Like there has to be something going on. And then she got me on the call and she said, hey, Roxann, not on my team whatsoever. She said, this is the issue I'm having. And I said, okay, no problem. Let's get on with your prospects. Let's get on with you. Let's figure this out. We figured it out in 5 minutes. It was easy peasy. It was done. That service was in. And then we were able to move on to a new service. But are you saying just letting them on their own and say, oh, you know what? Go figure it out. Because this woman now is almost an RD, is not even on my team. And I've helped her through a lot of stuff because her upline is like, oh, it's not working. It's okay, move on. That's not an okay way to lead your team. They're asking for help, help them. And if you don't know, figure it out with them. I tell them all the time, you know what? I have no stinking clue. Let's get on with Zoom. Let's get on with Spectrum. Let's figure this out so we know the answer together. Testimonials, same thing as edification. Are you practicing these testimonials with them? That is crucial. Now, when you get these testimonials from your customers, are you teaching your team how to? You have to coach the customers the same way you teach your team on how to give a testimonial. If it's just a customer, a video testimonial, hey, say these couple things. It's okay, we'll get it on camera, we'll get it on audio, whatever. Here, share this post. I'm with a customer and I actually type a post in their phone and hand it back to them and say, hey, look at this before they post it. You have to coach them the same way. Customer acquisition, she talked about. Needing to ask, and I kind of want to extend this a little bit. So that ask for a customer, we forget all the time, but it's the same thing as asking for an IBO, but that's us. Now with your team, are you teaching them the 3-phase close? That's how you ask. We ask by utilizing the 3-phase close. If you don't know what that is, then you got to figure that out first. Because if you don't know how to close someone, how are you expecting your team to? Now, I will tell you, I teach my team this a lot, and I don't know why it's very difficult for them to pick up, because probably because I'm there. But most of the time, my team will reach out to me and say, hey, can you just do it for me? And I said, I'm here. You got this. Oh, but you're better at it. I get it. I've had lots of practice. The only way you can be at my level is to practice. You got this. So are you being that drill sergeant, telling them calmly, it's okay, I know you're scared, I know you don't want to, but you got this, and letting them fall, letting them be scared, letting them say, I can't do this, and proving to them that they can. So when we talk about the different ways to be a leader, almost everybody's hands went down, is that leaders lead differently. I've had a leader for me when I came across a customer and I got stuck with something. I reached out to them and they said, it was kind of ridiculous, but they said, hey, Roxann, you know what? We're here to build teams. You wouldn't be going to ask an RVP or an SVP about a customer, just figure it out. And I'm like, excuse me? I will figure it out. And you know what? This is the last time I'm going to ask you, because I know I want to be here for my team. I get that there's some way to lead to say, just figure it out, but there's also a way to say, hey, you've got this, which is the same thing. You've got this. It's the same thing, because they will figure it out, but I'm here to support you. I am here to help you. That is how I took that video. And I watched it twice and I saw that it was a skit and I'm like, I don't care. This is the best way to emulate the proper leadership. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected. You guys, crap hits the fan, and it does sometimes. And even as leaders, we freak out. But Mr. Corralejo always says, do not show fear, doubt, worry, any of those things to your team, because your team is looking up to you. And as you stay cool as a cucumber, guess what? When stuff hits the fan, they will too. And I've seen it happen so many times. Actually, recently with one of my reps, Trish. She got a rep. She's super excited. She gets a rep, and this is her first rep. So she's getting into her comfort zone. I've talked about her a lot because it's very hard to get into your groove in your comfort zone. But she, for some reason, keeps calling him the wrong name. And I know it's nerves. And I'm like, man, this is going to make her just shut down if she does this in front of a group of people. And sure enough, he has his family on the call, all of his family who knows his name pretty well, the family that gave him his name. And she calls him by the wrong name. And I was like, oh, what is going to happen? And then, of course, I don't know if it was him or his mom, like, just corrects her and says his right name. And she goes, oh, my gosh, you know what? You're always going to be this in my book. I'm always going to call you that. I'm just going to call you by your last name. And she rolled with it. Why? because she's seen me mess up so many times to the fact that you just got to roll with it, that now it's become duplicatable. So some of these things that we say in these traits that might not be duplicatable, oh, I can't be like you. Yes, you can. If you show your team you're being a certain way, your team will follow in those footsteps. So it's who you're being as a leader. All this stuff Miss Carrie Roeder went over yesterday, can you effectively do and handle all of those things she did? And if you can, the next step is, can you effectively teach other people how? Because all these calls aren't for, and we've said it a number of times, it's not for you. It's for your team. This information is for you to take and deliver to your team. So as everybody's laughing and at that video and saying all these things about the guy, I'm focused on the sergeant. I'm focused on his communication style. I am taking notes in this video of how to effectively calm someone down and talk to them. Let them know, hey, I've got you, in so many words. So are you being that person that people want to follow? That is huge. And to be that person people want to follow, go beyond you, beyond your actions, beyond your results, but what you're doing for other people. All the great leaders we've ever had in the world, global great leaders, is not because they did something great. It's because they started a movement for things that they've done great for other people, help them become better people, help them start a bigger movement. A movement can be started by one person, but it cannot blow up without other people with the same mindset. You guys, we have the same mindset here. A lot of people, the first thought was, what a great leader. I love this group. If you said it to a different group of people, that wouldn't have been the response. It would have been how silly the other guy was being. 100%, hands down. I read those comments. That's exactly what it was about. Not one of the comments talked about what an amazing, that I saw, leader the sergeant was. So we need to take this platform and expand it. There's 8.1 billion people in the world. Imagine if they're plugging into something like this. If they're a rep or not a rep, that's besides the point. It doesn't matter, because we're here to make this world a better place. Not just for us, but for everybody that's in it. It's for our kids. I don't have any. My nieces, my nephew, my grandkids. I'm looking at Maria when I wanted to say grandkids, because I know that's exactly her reason why and what she's doing this for. So as we're thinking and we're going out and recruiting people, who are you being? Are you trying to recruit? Are you really trying to make a difference in this world? Are you really trying to be a good leader? Can you lead your family that same way that sergeant led that person down the wall? So think about that. When we have these conversations like Miss Carrie Roeder gave yesterday, how can I translate this into leadership? She's talking to me. Am I doing this? No, that's step one. Two, how can I translate this to leadership?